Okay.
So say hello for everyone and say you're recording today's session. And as people pop in, you allow them in and then I'll be looking for texts if you have any questions, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
You're awesome.
Thank you. All right. Here we go.
What's that?
I said, here we go.
Yeah, well, people will come in about 5 minutes behind schedule anyways, right?
Yeah, Becky just popped in. Hey, Becky. Yeah.
Tell her, say hello.
Okay.
You got it, girl.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Hey. Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you. Yeah.
There.
Yes. Okay. Hello. Oh, I'm going to let somebody else in.
Okay.
Here comes Jamie. All right. Oh, nice. And Nadine. Great. Okay. So I'm going to be letting in a few people. They're coming in. So I'm hosting today. Super exciting. April is busy moving. So she asked me to host for her.
Great.
Hi, Nadine. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I think this is the first time I'm meeting you. Is it?
I was in, where was I? I'm in Roseville, I think. We met in Roseville.
That's
that
right.
one time.
Yes. Good to see you again.
See you. Good to see you again, Becky.
Hi, good to see you, hon.
All right. And Jamie's here. She's muted, but hi.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather today, so I'm not on camera.
Oh, no. Sorry to hear that.
Oh, that's okay. I'll be fine. Thank you, though.
Yeah. It's that time of year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to wait a couple more minutes. Sometimes it takes a little bit for people to come in. But if you are just joining and you didn't get a chance to hear, it's just me hosting today. April is moving. So she's got all the movers at her house right now. And so I'm going to be hosting. Pretty excited about that. If you can't tell, it's my first time. I'm looking where I'm going to click and share screen and all that good stuff. So please bear with me.
You'll do great.
Oh, thanks, Becky. Okay. It always helps that it's like friends,
Right.
we all know each other. So that's helpful.
Exactly.
All right. And okay, I'm going to let in Dallas is just joining us. Okay. So feel free to use the chat if you would prefer, or you can just hop in as I'm speaking at any time. Just don't forget to take yourself off mute or else I might not know that you're talking. And we'll get started. Hey, Dallas.
Hi.
Hi,
Good
Dallas.
to see you.
I had it right the first time. Hey, ladies, how are we?
Hey, good. Yeah, you are only gentlemen so far.
I see that.
You.
All right. Okay,
like
so
the
I'm just
odds.
go ahead. What'd you say?
Said I like the odds.
There you go.
Right. They're ever in your favor today. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. As I said, I am going to be hosting in April's place today. She's got some movers to take care of, so it's just going to be me. But we're going to keep to the same routine. I'm going to go over something called the 145, which I'm sure you guys are all familiar with since you know April. It's been probably one of my most helpful tools in both the place that I worked before and now, in just having some clear goal setting strategies and fulfilling those and watching that happen. So I'm going to share with you guys my 145 that I wrote when I started with April. And then also at the end, if you guys would like, I can send you a downloadable PDF of the 145 so you guys could do this yourself, or you could just make one. But either way, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, all right, can we all see?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so the 145 is so aptly named just because you have that one, it's your one inspiring statement. Then you have the 4 statements to support that. And then you also have your 5 strategies to support your 5 strategies to support, those 4 statements that you have. So it's just like a breakdown, a very specific breakdown of that one goal, your one inspiring statement. And that one goal could be as broad or as narrow as you would like it to be. So I wanted to start by sharing my 145 with you guys, just so you can get a really good idea about what one would look like. And then I would love if we could chat about your end of year goals to see what you're doing to implement those. And maybe if this tool could be helpful for you in that. So starting up at the one inspiring statement, my main goal was by January 2022, I will create a sustainable, repeatable, and focused operations system for One Light Ahead to allow the company to expand its reach without sacrificing value to its clients. A reason that I added that kind of tag at the end, without sacrificing value to its clients, is because I don't feel that I would have successfully completed the goal if that caveat was also not completed. So if I was able to create a great operations system, but it wasn't doable for April or for the company, and her clients suffered from that, then it wouldn't be a great goal. So I needed to make sure that I addressed that before I started trying to fulfill the rest of my goal. So then the next part is just 4 statements to support that one inspiring statement. And so this is your next breakdown. This is 4 very real ways that I was going to get that done. I won't spend my time reading out loud all of them. You guys can see, but I wanted to make sure that you noticed that I included on number 4, and this was actually something that April, I don't want to say made me do, but she did. It was under her recommendation, and I'm so glad she did, that I include the celebration in my strategies. So that's probably the thing that I will focus on the most today, is how you're going to plan the celebration before you've earned it. And if you're anything like myself, the celebration won't happen if you don't, because it's so easy for you to accomplish your goal. And, you think at the time, typically, I think that's great that I did that. Now on to the next thing. And that's pretty much where the celebration ends. So April saw that in me. She encouraged me to do this. And so I included the celebration in my strategy. And I'll go over that a little bit more when we're at the end. But after you've done those 4 statements, right, then you're going to go down to and start breaking down each of those 4 statements a little bit further. So then you have 5 strategies to do each of those 4 statements. And of course, once you've done everything, then your number 1 inspiring statement has been accomplished, and it's celebration time. But okay, so now we're going to go over to page 2. Is it moving to page 2 for you guys? Okay, perfect. And if I need to slow down, or if you want to stop me and say anything, just let me know. I know I can go a little fast sometimes. Okay, so if you notice 5 strategies to support number 4, this is the one that I really wanted to talk to you guys about. This was my celebration strategy. And this was the hardest one for me to write down, because in my head, I kind of knew I didn't want to do it anyway. And it wasn't, I don't know, it just didn't seem like it was as important as the other things. I felt like maybe a task should be in that spot, instead of the celebration. But I'm so glad that I did this. So I just wanted to share it with you guys. My 4th thing was to celebrate, right? But a way that I was going to celebrate is to continue to seek and learn from others that are more experienced than I am. I included that in my celebration, and it helped me to feel like I was actually accomplishing something, instead of just like, oh, good job, Haley, humbly adjust my attitude when I find I'm not aligned with my purpose. So I know myself, as you guys know yourselves the best. And I know that sometimes I can get things done well with a really bad attitude. And so I made sure to include that as kind of like a reminder to myself of, okay, this is how you want to accomplish this goal mentally. This is the place that you want to be working from and living from. And you can't celebrate unless you've done this, right? And I will recognize when I have successfully accomplished a goal and allow myself to celebrate each completion. That's obviously a challenge for me. And then focusing on joy, Jesus, others, you. That's just something that I keep close to my heart. And it's a way that I really connect to God. And then the last one, this is my actual celebration, which is my best friend is a tattoo artist. She's a really good one. And so I just needed to make the appointment to meet with her. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this share. Now, you guys all know about me now and how I joined on with April and my goals and stuff. But what do you see as being applicable to you as far as both setting goals, like this is using this as a tool to set goals, but then also using it as a tool to celebrate? Dallas, since we love picking on you and you gave me permission, I'm gonna ask you first.
Yeah, totally. Just quick clarifying question. I'm a little confused on that inspirational statement. What's the time frame there? Is it 1 year, 3 years, 10 years?
That's a
I
great
feel like
question.
I could do one of these 145s for each time frame.
You can. It's totally set. When you see the PDF, it's blank, 100% blank. So you could use these as your 2022. This is my 145 for an overview of 2022, or it could be today. This is what I want to accomplish, my one inspiring statement for today. And then you break down your tasks for the day. It has no set time frame. It's just whatever you think is best for your goal.
Let's see. Interesting. Well, then I want to do several of these and believe it or not, this is the first time that I've heard of a 145, and I've been with April for 3 months. Why is
Oh my
that?
gosh. Well, that's great.
So, this would have been very, very helpful 3 months ago because anyway, so just right off the top, as you were going through this, and it was awesome because my gears just started turning. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be great. I can already just place my 4, right? So for my 1 year, we've done a lot of the EOS stuff. So I've already got that kind of in place. So I can just fill in the blanks with this kind of PDF from the EOS that we've already done, right? So the inspirational statement, I want to fully working autonomous locations for Shattered Dreams by 8/22/22. That's exactly 1 year. And they need, when I say fully autonomous, that's to where I've got systems and teams in place to where I don't even have to put out fires. Like I'm completely at 100% working on my business at that point. And I'm no longer even doing fulfillment or even doing some of the customer calls that we're doing today. Like I'm buying back my time completely by 8/22/22. So 4 support structures underneath that. That's going to be really more of 5 strategies for each support structure. So we're going to have to kind of research some of that because I don't want to put a strategy as a support, right? So the support structure would be something like changing my activity to where in the last 2 days has been fantastic because I have done meetings, I've done pretty much everything except the actual fulfillment of my job for the first time in like 3 years, right? So I've worked the least amount in my business over the past 2 or 3 days that I have since I've really opened. And the revenues have been crazy, like, which is very humbling because there's people back here on the mats then that are doing the work that I've used to been able to do that I thought, oh, nobody else can do it, like I can do it. And here they are in the past 3 days cranking this stuff out quicker than I can do it. And I'm just like, this is what I've wanted the whole time. So for the past 3 days, I've been able to finalize setting up the bank accounts. I've been dialing through the CRM. It's crazy that I'm looking at this activity as something that I'm enjoying, but I never thought I would. Because for the past 3.5 years, it's been me coming in and fixing cell phones. That's what I've enjoyed the most. And now that gear is even shifting. That whole mindset is shifting to where I'm having just as much fun making my follow-up phone calls post-transactional, right? And I feel like it does something to the customer too, because there's not any money involved here. This is just me touching a base. Hey, how's that iPhone 7 Plus working that we fixed for you back in May? And they're blown away that I even remember. And so,
absolutely.
Right. So that's one of these support structures as an example, but I think that's going to help. Getting other support structures will be getting implemented the employee manual we're working on. Getting the
Great.
board set up. I got your email on that. I want to do that today, probably right after this, actually.
Awesome.
And sign into the Trello boards.
Trello. Mhm.
So yeah, so that's another support. And the bank account thing. I've already got my banks and 4 little bank accounts set up. I've got one more personal account to add to my online banking. I'm going to do that today. And then all that's set up to where I can just move stuff around right off the app. It's going to be beautiful. So streamlining all of that.
If I'm understanding you, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying that you have your one inspiring statement down. That's done. And then your
For a year.
4, what'd you say?
For the 1 year. And then I've also got one for the 3 year and for the 10 year.
Right. So let's just stick to the first one to make sure that we've got that all prepared.
I'm
Right?
with you.
So, right. So one inspiring statement's down. And then you have your 4 supporting statements down. But the 5 is where you're kind of hitting a roadblock. Is
Well, just
that what
because
I'm
I
hearing?
haven't thought about it yet. This is the first time
Oh,
I just
sure.
put this on paper.
Sure.
I will get to these 5 real fast though. I could
Yeah.
probably
So
come up with something
I'm-
on the fly.
I'm now thinking that you said that those 5 are really where the rubber meets the road. That's what you're actually doing, right?
5
It's not an
strategies, let's say.
idea.
Right. So for the CRM dialing, I'm just now scheduling that in my planner every day. So that
Yep.
would be one of the strategies to support that.
Right. So one of your thing would be set aside this amount of time per day to accomplish A, B, C, D. And then you do it, right?
So that's what I've been doing the past 3 days, is that rather than just boxing off my schedule from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. that just says fulfillment, I'm actually going in there and doing a little bit more detail and saying, okay, from 10:30 to 12:30, I'm getting at least 1 letter of my CRM completely dialed. I did all the D's today. So everybody that had a last name of D, or where we didn't get a last name and just got a first name Derek, I got them all done today. So people are fired up. The phone's been ringing all day from the people that I missed. They're dialing back and saying, hey, what did I miss? What's going on?
Awesome.
Just checking to make sure everything's good. And I've been enjoying that. And then I've got Noah over here turned loose. I'm just doing all the fulfillment stuff. So here he is cranking out all the repair. Well, I'm just having fun talking to people.
Right. And then you have all of these 145s. If you choose to document these things, now you have an operation system that you can just plug into your manual, because this is how you're doing it. Right.
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
So
So I can multi-purpose these things, right?
absolutely. Yeah. Why not? Becky, I see you chuckling over there. What do you hear that you relate
Well,
to?
I'm just hearing a huge celebration for Dallas. I mean, gosh, the
Yeah.
last 2 days, you've been able to actually kind of do the leadership role and do the things that, you've been looking forward to doing. And, you're having, having some fun and celebrating, and, that's cool. And your team with you, I'm sure they're celebrating too, because they want you out of their business.
For sure. For sure.
So
And then
that's
they love
so
it when I'm not
cool.
here. So I love it when I'm not
really
here.
happy for you, Dallas. That's awesome. Yeah.
Hey, Sam, I don't know. I haven't said hi to you yet, but good to see you in here. Oh, he's on mute, but still good to see you.
Sorry,
There he is.
I have a sick kid with me, so.
Oh, man, it's going around. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, welcome. Feel free to hop in at any time if you want to hop back on mute, whatever works best for you. But if you can, for a moment, I'm not sure when you popped in. Have you done a 145 yet? Or are
I
you
haven't.
familiar with it?
No, I haven't. I've done probably something similar to that, where I have certain long-term goals, and then I break them down. I kind of reverse engineer it, but I haven't done it in that format yet. So
That's interesting. Do you see it as something? How do you see it as being something that could help you? Hi, good to see you.
First off, something like you said is I don't celebrate my wins at all. When I graduated law school and I passed the bar, I was like, okay, I guess that's just, on to the next thing.
Oh my gosh.
So, that was something that I really need to write down and make sure that I do. But, I think that breaking it down like you did was very granular and very, I guess, more to the basics, where I what I usually like to do is just put kind of general things that I need to do that are probably not very helpful on a day-to-day basis for me. So
yeah, it sounds kind of similar to what Dallas was saying, is that the ideas came easy, the first statement, and then maybe the 4 ideas about how that was going to happen. But then when you break it down to the actual daily actions that you're going to do, it's a little bit harder to document that. Is that right?
very, very much so. I'm a very like high, I don't know if high level is the right word, very strategic, like long term like that. And when it comes down to the day-to-day stuff, it's very hard for me to do.
I think fantastical thinking would fit most of us, yeah. And, there are great benefits to that. Most entrepreneurs share that, but there are also the pitfalls of not being super detailed in our goal setting. Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right, Nadine, I don't know if you're taking notes over there or
I am taking
if you're
notes.
relating.
No, I am so relating. Working with April all the years, I have never heard the 145.
Oh my gosh, I'm so shocked right now.
I know. I'm like, what in the heck is that?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, and it's been years. It's not been months. It's been years. So
I should have asked before I even started. I would have, I don't know. I would have been different, I think.
No, but I absolutely love it. And and then the celebrate the wins, that is like a challenge that I have struggled with forever. So and it makes a huge difference when you celebrate your wins, because it makes you actually finish a goal.
Yes. And it sets a clear marker for, I have accomplished this goal.
Yeah.
I said I was going to do it. I did it. And now you're free to move on to the next thing.
Yeah, and it trains your brain for success. And I didn't understand that. In fact, I disagreed with it. And in fact, I fought against it for a long time. And when I actually started doing it, then it was like believable. Then it was like, oh, wow, it really does train your brain for success.
Yeah,
And
I would
get rid of things. And I fought against it for years. Don't move at my pace ever.
So it sounds like that's something that you heard, but you had to experience it.
I've had many coaches say, this is what you need to do. And so in April was one of them. And I just was like, it's BS.
Right.
But it's not.
I'm so glad you said that, because
when I started studying neuroplasticity and all the brain, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. So then I
see. So it's like paving that pathway in your mind and making it easier for the thoughts to go down that page.
I mean, it's like you're coming down and then you get to come to a stop sign. You get to celebrate because you or hit a parking lot, whatever you want to see, like in your thing. And then you get to take a different road to the next goal. And then, it's like hitting landmarks along your travels.
Right. I love that.
Enjoying the moment. Yeah. So I love that you brought that up. And I would just say, so my year-end goal is been to gear up and have my systems in place so that January I'm dialed in. So
that's awesome.
Another thing I fight all the time.
So are you prepping to get your system set up in January, or you want to have them set up before January?
I have my systems in place. It is that I am working on them so that by January it's a habit.
I love that.
And
sometimes that is how we have to.
Yeah, and I cut my days back working so that I only want to work 3.5 to 4 days a week. And so I really have to be solid about those days. So that's what I'm practicing that schedule so that by second week in January, when things really start taking off, that I've got things in place.
I love that. It's like you're prepping for the prep. Yeah. You've already done it, but and we need to do that. I'm not the only one that needs to do that, I hope.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But now the strategies I'm going to have to go in and write. I love this. So I'm going to have to work on that now and just really finalize and work on this. So this is my big takeaway for today, what I'll be working on this afternoon.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. And I'll send an email to all of you guys just so you have it. It's just the blank PDF of this if you wanted to print them out, keep them around, whatever you want to do. But you can always just write this down on a napkin, one inspiring statement, 4 4 ways to get that done, and then 5 strategies to get those 4 things done. So
I love it.
it can be as simple as that. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, Jamie, do you want to hop in for a moment and just
Yeah,
let us
no,
know?
I'm happy to, and I definitely would like a copy of that because I have heard April talk about the 145, and I think we did something like that informally, but didn't really put a lot of the thought into it like I would as I would sit down and do it. But
Right.
I think it's interesting because I have always had a problem celebrating the wins, and to hear everybody else kind of have the same thing, it's kind of like I'm always moving on to the next one. And April really pointed out, I mean, as much negative as we tell ourselves, we really do need to celebrate our accomplishments. And I keep forgetting that part. So that is one of my goals, is to really celebrate the wins and really celebrate the accomplishments. And I've got what my 5-year goal is. I have steps to get there. But kind of like Sam, I need to get to that smaller picture in the day to day, as opposed to just looking at the big picture and what steps I need to take to get there. So I'm looking forward to this document myself.
Great. So when you do this one, since you have your 5-year goal, are you going to be narrowing it down to like 3-year, 1 year, or even shorter?
Probably all of that. I would probably say, because I've got my 5-year and I need to definitely go down into, okay, 1 year. Where do I want to be at this time next year, preparing for 2023? And really where I want to be in the next couple of months, preparing for 2022. So, kind of like Nadine, I think I've got a lot of my processes in place that I want to be. Now I need to implement them so that they do become habit for early in the year, instead of being, 6 months down the road still trying to implement things. So probably putting a little bit of speed onto that.
Right. Do you plan on setting a specific like month and time frame for it, or is it going to be more big picture?
Less big picture. And one thing that April and I have been working on quite a bit is actually more my daily task, and having that schedule to where I know what I want to do long term and how to get there, or what I want at the end, but I don't have the steps necessarily. The strategy, I guess, is what I'm missing in order to make it to that vision.
Gotcha. I'm so excited for everyone to get started on these. This is my favorite document. I could probably talk about this all day. So Becky, what do you hear in Nadine and Jamie's plans? What do you hear?
Well, Nadine, I see that she takes her business very seriously, and needs to just remember to take things, maybe, just be light about when, and look at the quick wins, look at the times when things go well, and just celebrate, and find just a small thing that you can do to celebrate. I know you love to go skiing and love to be outdoors and stuff, but it might be that, during the day when you're working, when you get a quick win, you could run around the house outside, or do something, that would be outside for 5 minutes, and that would be, something to celebrate. So I just encourage you to do that. With Jamie, I'm sure she's done this for quite a while, and what I hear her is that, she is pretty structured in what she does, and that she just needs to look at more of the details. So, and think a little bit more near term. And I'm kind of like that too. I'm a dreamer, it's the fantastical thing. And I can dream all day and say, by the end of this year, I'm going to do this, that, and this. But to really buckle down and sit in a chair and start doing the work, it's like, oh my gosh, that's the hard part for me, is
It's a whole different ball game, I
the
think.
little details. So,
Yeah.
when I do get details done, I love to have parties and celebrate. So it's not a problem for me to celebrate. So
I was going to ask you in what ways would you put, like, if you were going to put a celebration strategy on your 145, what would it look like for you?
Oh my gosh. Well, it kind of depends, like was it Sam that said you finished your law,
His
you know,
bar
yeah,
exam.
your bar
Yeah,
exam?
I graduated
Well,
law school and finished some more exam. I was like, yeah, this doesn't.
Oh my God.
I had like a party planned with like 50 guests coming for dinner and you know, it's like, and when I do something at work during the day, what I was encouraging Nadine to do is I'll get my dog and we'll go on a walk and, you know, take a walk around the block or something, and or I'll stop and make a coffee or you know, stuff like that. I mean, it can be small, but if you need any help with the big things, you just call me. I've got lots of ideas.
That's great.
So
Sam, how do you celebrate?
Maybe a nice dinner, and that's pretty much it. But it's, you know, I think with the law school and the bar thing, it was kind of like I had gotten so used to just jumping through the hoops to get to where I needed to be, if that makes sense, saying, hey, it's a professional career and it's trying cases and doing all those fancy things was the end goal, and kind of the things along the way, it was like, well, it's just another hoop to jump through, rather than kind of acknowledging it as an event by itself.
Right.
For me.
So after hearing what Nadine said about, you know, rewiring your brain and how it actually can affect your level of success, how does that resonate with you? And what do you think about that?
You know, I think that it is helpful because, you know, the day-to-day stuff, like I said, the day-to-day, the granular stuff is really where it's going to become more, you know, it was more challenging for me to put that stuff down and get it accomplished every day, rather than say, hey, I know what I want, where I want to be in 5 years, I know where I want to be in 10 years. So.
Got it. So are you committing? Are you going to commit to celebrating yourself?
Yes, I am going to commit.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing how that sets you up for success, because we all know that it will, right?
Yeah.
And Dallas, how about you? How are you resonating with that idea of celebration? How would you celebrate?
I don't know. I don't think my celebrations are very good.
What do you
So as we've been going through this, I've just listed one all the way out, right? So all right. So on number 5, how I would celebrate if I have dialed the entire CRM once it's completely done, right? And I put down here, earn a new screwdriver. So I get to buy a new screwdriver for my new mats, because I know it's something small and it's silly. Just the cool energy that I get from that, not knowing when it's going to arrive in the mail, is part of it too. That I get to go in and see my new
100%.
screwdrivers there. It's just huge for me. And sometimes the screwdriver is so terrible that the anticipation waiting for the new screwdriver is really the end goal anyway. So it's just wanting to just. So that's how I do it. I get to buy a new tool or buy new tweezers or something new to play with in the shop. And I don't know. Eventually, I do have longer term goals of what I want to do once I hit a threshold of net worth. So until then, I don't really do a lot. I don't know. I've got to figure out ways of celebrating that don't cost money. So somehow, when I think of celebratory items, I always attach a price tag to it, and that's not necessarily. I don't know. I need to figure out new ideas of being able to celebrate some of these smaller wins so that I can kind of stack momentum, if that makes sense. Otherwise, I'm just going 60 days, 90 days, and I'm not really celebrating anything, right? Because that's kind of where my goals will crack. That's when those big chunks that I want to necessarily knock out of my list are going to happen. And so that's, I don't know. I guess the celebration is dependent on the size of the victory.
Sure. I think that is wise. We can't be going around celebrating everything all the time, super big. But, you know, just include, I mean, I guess you could be quite the life, but, you know, I just think including it is really what matters. And kind of in the same sense of like, I think the screwdriver is a great idea. I do that all the time, by the way. Like I'll just order a little something off of Amazon or whatever it is. And I love waiting and tracking the package and seeing that they're 4 stops away. And then I'm like waiting by the door. So, everyone does that, I think. But Becky, I wanted to ask you, because you were saying, celebrating it, I've got down. So what would you recommend for Dallas when it's a little bit less familiar for him?
Mm-hmm. So what is something that you love to do that you don't get to do now because of you're so busy? Is there anything?
Inline speed skating.
Okay. So is that something that you could do, take like 30 minutes and put your skates on and take off?
At 38, probably not anymore.
Oh, true. Sorry, I'm in Arizona.
No, Dallas. I'm 59. I'll be 60 in February, and I still inline skate in a circle, but you don't get that excuse. That one's going away right now.
Another idea is, you might want to delegate celebrating to someone else on your team that likes to celebrate. Maybe they could like throw little celebrations for you when they know that there's something that you've done. They could like help initiate that with you.
It's got Taylor's name written all over it.
Include your team in it, or go get a coffee, or I don't know.
So
I love that. Celebration delegation.
I started with a fist pump and a dance in a circle.
There you go.
That's how I had to start. Literally.
That's great.
And I circled, and that's literally how I had to start. And I had to do it every time I finished a power, like when you do the power sessions. So every time I finished a power session, that's how I started.
That's great.
That is great
idea.
But it worked. It started working.
Doesn't cost a penny.
No, it cost no money. And it was like, oh, I am kind of feeling a little excited. This does really work.
That's awesome. Part of that rewiring process.
Yeah. I'd have somebody tell me what to do, so help me.
I have kind of the same thing, Nadine. I do a high five in the mirror, and it's just a reminder to myself that that's, it's a win and you do need to celebrate it.
Yeah, no, I love it.
That's awesome. Now I'm wondering, okay, what do? I definitely have a little like dance, just get. That's great. Okay, so Dallas and Sam, next time we meet, I want to see your celebration dances that you have.
Perfect.
Little did April know when she put me in charge of this. Okay.
I think we all want to see those dances. So good job, Haley.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Are there any questions? I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'll give you back that 20 minutes, as April likes to say. But I do want to open up for any last minute thoughts, questions, ideas. Anybody? No?
I thought I would just share a little thing that, we've talked about systems and structures, and that's really important. And I like to say my system, my structure, my schedule. So you're kind of looking at the holistic view of your business, and what tells you how you're spending your time is your calendar. So if you look at your calendar, is there something that you can remove or restructure, or to ensure that you're going to be meeting your goals in the new year? So just something to look at: system, structure, and schedule. Just a little something I use.
Yeah, I'll write that on the top of my 145s now, so that I can have that in mind.
There you go.
That's perfect. Okay, anybody else?
Where are these Trello boards going to fit in on this sheet?
On the 145?
Yeah.
Well,
that'd be a support structure. My main insight. Okay. Starts.
I mean, really, because the Trello boards are kind of like just more task management, right? So these will probably kind of interlock with each other. You know, maybe you have a Trello board for one of the tasks, or you could just have a card for one of them. Yeah, there are multiple ways you could go about that, I think. But go ahead and send us, you can send me your 145 after it's done, and then I could take a look at it and see how it would fit, or if we wanted to we could make a board for your
Make
145.
a board for the 145. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, there are a lot of really good, and Sam, you could use that as well. If you, yeah. Send them over. I would love to see them once they're done.
I've almost got one done. Excited.
You move so fast. You got to celebrate. Yeah.
Hey, dances. There you go. I figured that out. I gotta. I love it. It's gonna be interesting to do on Zoom too, won't it?
Yeah, and everyone will see you dancing. They won't know why. That'll be
Exactly.
okay. All right. So I'm gonna send over the PDF for the 145 to all of you guys, and then if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or send them over when you've written them out. I would love to see what you guys are up to and what your goals are. But with that said, thank you guys so much for coming with me. My first Q&A. So excited.
Killed it.
Awesome. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week for sure. And thank you so much for coming. Bye.